me.
Yup, this is a crypto game for sure. Hello, I'm John. Welcome back to the series where I play and review every NFT and crypto game from the perspective of a gamer. Today, we'll be taking a look at the world's very first kill-to-earn type game, Undead Blocks. Undead Blocks is a multiplayer zombie survival game, and I first learned about it on the homepage of the GameStop NFT marketplace. The only other game that I've played on this marketplace was Kiraverse, and that was just the Unreal Engine 5 starter project with the assets swapped out. Regardless, we won't let that stop us from approaching this one with an open mind. Before we get started with our review of the game though, you'll need this bingo card. Pause the video, take a screenshot, and play along while you watch the video. Let's see if Undead Blocks is a winner. Clicking play now takes us to the Undead Blocks website, where we can learn a little bit more about the game. I've got to give it to them, this is a great looking website. However, it might have too much going on, as just having this site open in a different tab slows my browser significantly. Hopefully the actual game is more optimized than this website. I think the first thing that you'll probably notice as we look at this gameplay footage is that this game looks almost identical to Call of Duty Zombies. I also noticed that they have misspelled the word melee in this gameplay clip. Well, it wouldn't be a crypto game if they didn't at least make one spelling mistake. Undead Blocks was developed and designed by Wagyu Games, with artwork by Kevuru Games, two companies that I have never heard of. I couldn't find any other games that Wagyu has worked on in the past, but everyone has to start somewhere. Anyway, that's enough exploring the website. Let's give the game a try. After clicking download beta, I am brought to a page where I can register for a Wagyu account. Registration is straightforward, and I was happy to see that they make adding a cryptocurrency wallet optional. This is very important, as of course, we already know that they're not going to be teaching us how to use this wallet, so it's better that they just don't require it at all. After finalizing my account with a nice profile picture, I downloaded the Undead Blocks launcher and installed the game. Thank God that I've started lowering my Windows volume all the way down to 1 before launching any of these games, because I'd be deaf by now with how loud they are. Wow, the cinematography on this intro is sick. I'm already hyped up. Are we going to be playing an NFT game that will actually have me coming back for more? Let's find out. After logging in with the Wagyu account that I created earlier, the first place that I headed was the game's settings. I was disappointed to find that features such as voice chat and subtitles were labeled as feature not ready, but I was still able to max out my graphics settings. I want the full console quality experience after all, whatever that means. There's a variety of options for game modes to choose from. There's solo, pistol speedrun, Mp5 Massacre, AKM Assault, duos, and tournament. I'll be checking all of these out, but let's just start with solo. What's this? All weapons available. Oh boy, are NFTs not even implemented yet? Whatever, that doesn't really matter to me. I'm just ready to start killing to earn. After a quick loading screen, I'm dropped into the world of Undead Blocks. This default sensitivity is completely uncontrollable. I need to lower this. After adjusting my sensitivity to a more reasonable value, I take some time to walk around and explore the world of Undead Blocks. Judging by the name Undead Blocks, I was under the assumption that this game was going to have some sort of building features like Minecraft or Roblox, but no, it's just Call of Duty Zombies. I'm sure that the word blocks is just a reference to the blockchain. Why are we naming games based on their choice of database?
Yo, have you played World of Sequel yet? Nah, I'm too busy playing MongoDB Unlimited.
It's actually impressive how blatantly this game copies Call of Duty. You buy weapons off of the wall, you buy doors around the map to open them, there are perk sodas that you can buy from a vending machine, and of course, it's an endless round-based survival game. But not only did they copy every aspect of Call of Duty's gameplay, they've also copied the visual style as well. Undead Blocks on the maximum graphical settings somehow looks worse than the original Call of Duty Black Ops, which released 13 years ago. Now, I'm sure Call of Duty didn't invent round-based survival games, but this game better do at least something different, otherwise there's no reason that anyone would ever want to play this. Anyway, time to survive. The zombies seem to lack any sort of animation when entering the map, and they just sort of fly in, which looks awesome. There are also only 3 different models for the zombies, none of which are those cool ones that we saw on the website. The pistol is a good starting weapon though, and I'm able to easily use it to defend myself from the zombies. Unfortunately, the hit registration is abysmal, and there doesn't appear to be any bullet penetration on the zombies. This means that you will run out of ammo very fast and very often, as there is no efficient way to mow down large hordes of zombies. I can't believe that they messed this up. This feels horrible to play. I quickly discovered that zombies always walk slower than you, so as long as you keep moving, they will never be able to attack you. You don't even have to sprint, just walking is fine. The best strategy, therefore, is just to walk backwards while zombies form a long train and then headshot them all, occasionally stopping by the box to refill your ammunition. Every time you kill a zombie, you'll gain some XP, which is what you'll use as currency in-game. Unfortunately, the XP rewards for kills are pitifully low. After not purchasing anything besides ammunition for the first 5 rounds, I finally had enough XP to afford the very first wall weapon, the shotgun. However, since it's only capable of killing 1 zombie at a time and can only hold 2 bullets, you're better off just sticking with the pistol. The zombies appear to have no sort of sophisticated AI or pathfinding algorithm, they just walk in a straight line directly towards you. This makes their pathfinding easy to manipulate. As you can see here, when I jump over this fence, the zombies immediately turn around and go the other direction. Zombie AI is a critical feature for zombie survival games, as the zombies need to be able to predict where you're going next so that they can ambush you. Additionally, they should be able to at least sprint or move faster than you some of the time. But even though the AI sucks, there's still a more critical failure in Undead Blocks, and that's the fact that zombies have to come to a complete stop before they can perform the attack animation. Moving slightly to the left or right will cause the zombies' attack to always miss, so dodging them is trivial as long as you have enough room to move. This is a huge oversight, and it ends up making the gameplay more of a chore than fun, as you would only ever die if you walked into a corner and stood still. Undead Blocks also features state-of-the-art ragdoll technology. About half of the time that you kill a zombie by headshot, it will cause their ragdoll to completely bug out, somehow gaining an extreme amount of velocity. The map is plastered with these advertisements for the game's NFT collection, which helps to immerse the player by showing just how horrible and dystopian the post-apocalyptic world of Undead Blocks is. I'm bored of walking around outside though. There isn't too much to see in the first area of this map. The only wall weapon in this outdoors area is the shotgun, and as I said before, it's not worth using, so let's explore the inside of this large house. I walked over to the house to purchase the door to get inside, but then soon realized that this close quarters situation is not an ideal place to fight zombies at all. Every turn in this house leads to a dead end, with absolutely nothing of interest to find. This is extremely bad level design, especially for a genre of game that relies on the player running in loops to form trains of zombies. There is not nearly enough room to navigate around the zombies anywhere on this map besides the outdoors area. In this house, there's a weapons crate in the basement, but due to the cramped space, it's nearly impossible to use. The basement only has one way in or out, and the room is about 4 square feet. Entering this room is a death sentence. You're only ever going to be able to safely go here between rounds before zombies have spawned. Now that I've spent some time walking around this house, I've realized something else very important that the game developers have completely screwed up. It's kind of hard to tell if you're just watching me play instead of playing the game yourself, but the game's scale is wacky, especially inside of the buildings. What are these? Doors for ants? Is my character supposed to be 8 feet tall? My head touches the ceiling every time I jump. This is an interesting fact about game design that you may not know unless you've, well, designed a video game. Doors in video games are way taller than they are in real life. This is because of a variety of reasons, but can mostly be just summarized by saying that video game cameras do not operate in the same way that our human eyes do. This logic applies to more than just doors though. There's a ton of theory that goes into scaling objects for video games. In short, using real-life scale in a video game does not work, and doing so will make your player character feel ginormous. It feels like the developers behind Undead Blocks have not learned this lesson, probably because this is their first game. It's not just the inside of the house that feels wrong, the scale of everything on this map is all over the place. The cars are way too small, this dumpster is tiny, and the player character seems to just tower over everything. This scale issue is one of the core reasons that the level design in this game feels so bad, because no matter where you are, you'll always feel claustrophobic. This probably doesn't matter, since there's no reason to go inside any of the houses anyway. Walking around in a circle outside is still going to be the most effective way to survive for higher rounds. By this point, I had reached round 6, and the zombies were just becoming bigger and bigger bullet sponges. Again, due to the laziness of the developers, they didn't bother to come up with an interesting difficulty curve. The only difference in higher rounds is that more zombies spawn and they have more health. Alright, I think it's time I mentioned something very important. The character dialogue in this game is some of the most ridiculous, vomit-inducing crypto bro cringe that I have ever heard.
Ah, my stake and rewards have finally arrived. So, Bitcoin up today? Fuck me. Yo, I'm gonna make it.
This might give the Cryptoland trailer a run for its money.
Sir, the Lambo's ready.
What?
To the moon!
To the room! To the room, not the moon!
Yeah, never mind. I guess the crypto community isn't exactly known for their sense of humor though. Nor are they known for their ability to design optimized games, because if you haven't noticed yet, I've been getting a consistent frame rate of about 40 frames per second. And this game is certainly far from visually stunning. As soon as there were more than 10 zombies on screen, the performance becomes unbearable. Is this a part of the difficulty curve? Undead Blocks might be the very first game with a RAM bottleneck, as even though the game was hogging over 4 GB of RAM, neither my CPU nor GPU usage exceeded single digits. Talk about optimization, jeez. Let's lower the graphics settings and see if that helps. Doing this causes the game to freeze up completely, locking up my entire computer. Well, I was getting bored playing that game mode anyway, so thanks. After restarting my computer, I decided to check out some of the other available survivors. This dude that I've been playing as is named Lucas, the legal felon. Legal felon? What? Isn't that an oxymoron? There's only 4 characters in the game, and only 2 of them are playable, so I swapped over to my only other choice, Eva, the hardened survivor. On to the next game mode on the list, Pistol Speedrun. Okay, this is the exact same thing as solo, except now, instead of an endless survival, the game ends when you've killed 100 zombies. I spent most of my time just trying to jump on top of different map elements to find a place where the zombies couldn't hit me, but even that was boring, so I just decided to kill 100 zombies as fast as I could and get out of this level. I should probably mention at this point that the game only has 1 map. As usual with these crypto games, it seems that the developers have conflated the terms alpha and beta. I've said this many times before, but a game in beta is feature complete and ready to launch within a few months. Worryingly, Undead Blocks is supposed to release to the public in less than 30 days. This launch version better be a complete rebuild of the game from the ground up, because this build is fundamentally broken at its core. If I was one of the developers working on this game, I would actually be embarrassed to tell my friends that I was working on it, because it's just that bad. Anyway, the next game mode is Mp5 Massacre. Well, at least this time I start with a better gun. The only other difference is that there's a 10-minute time limit instead of a round system. There's no chance that I'm just going to sit here and pace in a circle for 10 minutes, so I'm gonna just stand still and let the zombies kill me. As always, I can't help but laugh at this polished death animation. Okay, next up, AKM Assault. Let me guess, it's the exact same thing except with an AKM as my starting weapon. Wow, I must be a genius, because that's exactly what this is. At this point, the only game mode that I have left to try is duos, so let's queue up. I'm sure that playing this game online is more entertaining. Well, after a bit of time spent searching for a match, to no one's surprise, I was unable to find one. Checking the list of online players seems to indicate that there are over 10,000 players online, but I seriously doubt that. The only thing that I have left to click is the tournament button, but it looks like I've just missed the most recent tournament. Too bad. I think that this is the fastest that I've ever finished an NFT game. It's been a little bit over an hour, and I've seen everything that the game has to offer. I would have loved to stick around and play more, but with the extremely poor performance, brain-dead easy gameplay, and complete lack of any progression system, there's just no point in playing this game any longer. But Undead Blocks is so much more than a video game. It's an entire, highly sophisticated economy as well. Undead Blocks has a proprietary cryptocurrency called the Undead token. Wait, then what are these Z-Bucks mentioned on the game's homepage? Are Z-Bucks not a cryptocurrency? Judging by their white paper, there are 2 types of Z-Bucks, gold or standard. Gold Z-Bucks are a stable coin that you can always redeem for 10 cents each. You can also use them to purchase new weapons and cosmetic items. Standard Z-Bucks are also used to purchase items, but they're not tradable. Neither of these coins have been implemented in the game yet, so we have yet to see how they will operate in reality. What about the Undead token? Why would I want to buy this? Well, holders of the Undead token have access to the following amazing benefits. 1. You can trade them to other players, and 2. You will eventually be able to use them to vote on things such as future weapons, maps, and game modes. This coin has more utility than 99.99% of cryptocurrencies on the market. Undead coins can also be staked for a minimum annual yield of 30%, with yields as high as 90% depending on how much you stake. I'm guessing that this isn't very sustainable, as it seems that the Undead token has plummeted 90% from an initial price of $2.17 to 22 cents. I have no idea how this game's economy is supposed to work, and I'm not so sure that the developers do either, as the white paper doesn't explain where any of this money is coming from. How is this stable exchange rate of 10 cents going to be maintained in the long run? How are they generating a 90% annual yield? While this may sound just like a scam, I think that the real answer is just that the developers have no idea what they're doing, and they're in over their heads. Undead Blocks has also released an NFT collection, where they sell loot boxes for between $7 and $11 each. It looks like this collection has generated them about $70,000 in revenue, with a total of 2,000 loot boxes sold. Considering that there were still about 23,000 loot box NFTs left in stock, I guess the demand for this collection isn't exactly there.
Okay, breaking news. While I was editing this video, I went back to take some screenshots of the fact that Undead Blocks had about 20,000 NFTs left in stock, when I was surprised to see that there was about 270 of this, 90 of this, 214. What in the world happened? Did somebody just buy 10,000 NFTs overnight? No, of course not. Undead Blocks has gone and burned almost every single NFT skin box crap that they had left. Why did they do this? I don't know or care, but I figured that this was worth pointing out, as it just shows that absolutely nobody is interested in buying these NFTs, so they had to throw them all away. Back to the video.
Wait a minute, I thought the whole purpose of NFTs was that they're supposed to be unique, one-of-a-kind, non-fungible in-game items that you truly own. What's the whole point of having a loot box as an NFT? It's not exactly a non-fungible item. Every loot box is the same until it's open. Does the NFT token contain a unique random seed to determine which item will be inside? Nope. They're all identical, and it looks like the tokens contain no important information outside of the rarity of the item that could be contained. Well, you know what they say, in the future, everything will be on the blockchain. Your college diploma, the title to your car, your house, and even your medical records too. Undead Blocks is just doing us all a favor by helping us to prepare for the future. While researching this NFT collection, I discovered something else very intriguing. While it seems that nobody is interested in purchasing the NFTs directly from Undead Blocks, there is still a surprisingly large volume of private trades in this collection. A daily volume of almost exactly $25,000 has persisted for the past 2 months. What in the world is going on here? If you guessed wash trading, you'd be 100% correct. It appears that a group of wallets has been buying and selling Undead Blocks NFTs back and forth every day. Why would anyone ever want to do this, though? Allow me to introduce to you the Immutable X trading reward system. Immutable X is a Layer 2 network of Ethereum, primarily geared towards NFT and Web3 games. You may know Immutable as the masterminds behind the pioneer Web3 Hearthstone clone, Gods Unchained. To incentivize use of their network, Immutable has launched a reward system, which will pay users a reward in Immutable X coins in exchange for buying or selling items on their network. Since Undead Blocks NFTs trade on the Immutable network, they are eligible for these trading rewards. I think it's pretty obvious that these wallets are all owned by the same person, since they only ever interact with each other. This individual has around 25 wallets, which each take turns selling the same items back and forth for exactly $2,500 every day, until the total amount traded has reached $25,000. With about 3% in fees on each trade, this scheme is only costing them about $750 a day. Despite this, this person looks to be receiving an average reward income of about $1,000 per wallet per month, directly from Immutable. Based on my quick math, it looks like this person is still profiting about $2,500 in total per month, solely from Immutable X rewards, just by selling items to themselves. I'm not sure that this market manipulation is the type of game that the creators had in mind when they said play to earn, but this is by far the best earnings that we've seen from one of these games yet. Regardless, this is a win-win scenario for all of the involved parties. Wash trading helps to create fake marketplace activity for both Immutable and GameStop, so they can turn to investors and say, look, we average $50 million a day in trading volume. The individual using this loophole also benefits as they make a small profit from letting their bot do all of this work for them, so this is great for the users as well. There's no way that Immutable doesn't know this is happening, since it took me only about 30 seconds of looking at the marketplace volume to discover this scheme. If we look back further, it seems like the same person has been doing this wash trading with Gods Unchained cards as well, ever since the very first day that Immutable X launched this rewards program. Ah, the joys of a free and unregulated market. While the economy of Undead Blocks seems to be a bit flawed, don't worry. They've hired the best of the best to develop and design their characters. Let's look at some of the individuals behind Undead Blocks. It's been a while since we've seen a game so proudly display the team's LinkedIn profiles. First, we have the executive director, Grant H. It looks like his entire work history is in banking and finance. Nothing related to gaming here. Kyle G., our director of business development, has previously worked as an engineer and CNC programmer before deciding to get into blockchain and NFTs. This is something that you'll see a lot in the world of blockchain. People who have absolutely no experience in technology seem to be the most vocal proponents of this tech. Such computer-savvy people like Jordan Belfort, Tom Brady, Gary Vee, and Snoop Dogg are the faces of blockchain technology. This makes crypto appear to the general public more like a get-rich-quick scheme or a scam than an innovative technology. Anyway, back to the team behind Undead Blocks. Next, we have the lead game designer and head of QA, Carson. Carson graduated in 2019 from Full Sail University, and his previous experience is as a children's camp instructor and a freelance game developer working on a mobile game. It's easy to be the fastest growing zombie blockchain game on the market when you're the only zombie blockchain game on the market. As we've seen before with other NFT games, it seems like the team behind Undead Blocks consists of a bunch of individuals with next to no experience in the field of game development. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be allowed to switch industries, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. However, you need to learn to crawl before you start sprinting. An amateur game studio with no history in game development would never be able to receive millions of dollars in venture capital funding in the real world, but in the world of Web3, these guys are the best that you're going to get. We already know that the GameStop NFT marketplace has no sense of quality control, so it doesn't surprise me that this game is proudly featured on their homepage, right next to GameStop's very own NFT game, an endless runner flash game. Because the team at Wagyu Games are nothing more than shameless grifters, they've created an official NFT skin just for members of the super stonk GameStop cult on Reddit, and those guys have gone crazy for it. These absolute geniuses are buying NFT skins in a game that they admit they have never played nor will ever play, in blind support for their beloved stock. This is the most intelligent group of investors mankind has ever seen. I think I've covered just about everything worth talking about with Undead Blocks. In conclusion, this is just another disgustingly low-effort copycat game riding on the NFT hype train to make a quick buck. However, in probably the smartest business decision they'll ever make, they've decided to partner with GameStop, which will guarantee them revenue and free advertisement from the morons who worship anything and everything related to GameStop. I've had a wonderful time playing Undead Blocks, and I can't wait to review the game using my 5-point scoring system. Point number 1, ease of access. Accessing Undead Blocks was easy. Create a Wagyu account, download the launcher, and launch the game. Plus, you don't even need to connect a wallet, since it seems that the NFTs don't do anything of interest just yet. 5 out of 5. Point number 2, graphics and audio. I don't even know how this game has such terrible performance. The utter incompetence of the developers has resulted in an ugly game with the visual fidelity of an early Xbox 360 title that requires a supercomputer to run on max settings. Players report difficulty achieving a solid 50 FPS even on an RTX 4090, so Undead Blocks must be just so advanced that today's technology can't handle it. The player models, weapon models, textures, scale of the world, character design, just about everything in this game looks atrocious. And don't even get me started on the audio. The game's menu has no sound effects outside of the music, the 2 playable characters have a total of 9 voice lines, and the zombies sound like they were ripped straight from Call of Duty World at War. This is an insult to gaming as a whole. Out of 5. Point number 3, gameplay. The gameplay of Undead Blocks is a direct clone of Call of Duty Zombies. However, I don't think that the developers have ever played Call of Duty Zombies. Instead, they must have just watched someone else play it for about 15 minutes and said, yep, we can do that. The game is extremely easy. The zombies never sprint, always move slower than you, and must come to a complete stop before they can attack. So, as long as you're always moving, you will literally never get hit. The additional game modes have no variation outside of your starting weapon and adding or removing a time limit. So, not a lot of thought went into that either. The game's multiplayer either doesn't work or there's nobody else playing the game, which wouldn't surprise me. This feels like something that a single amateur Unity dev could throw together in a few weeks, which, in my opinion, is exactly what this is. Insulting. Out of 5. Point number 4. The use of NFT, crypto, or blockchain technology. Well, the game doesn't require knowledge of crypto to play, which is good. However, even the team behind Undead Blocks doesn't seem to really justify their reason or decision to use NFTs. They don't even have the classic truly own your asset line. It's like the developers don't even know why they're using NFTs. They just saw an opportunity to capitalize on the hype and make money on the back of a fad. Most importantly, the economy of this game does not seem well thought out. In my opinion, this coin is just going to trend towards 0, as the only way that they can maintain a 90% annual return is by printing money or running a Ponzi scheme. Lastly, their promise to honor a stablecoin cash out of 10 cents per Z-Buck sounds impossible, especially since they don't explain where this money is coming from. Is it coming from other players? Well, in that case, you can only ever cash out when there's another buyer, and unfortunately for you, there will not be another buyer because this game is offensively bad. 0 out of 5. Point number 5. Will this project succeed? Probably not. There is very little interest left in this game, as it was announced over 2 years ago and they started selling tokens far in advance of the game's first beta launch. They've also missed nearly every single milestone on their roadmap. In fact, they seem to have given up on using it completely, as nothing new has been checked off since 2021. In my opinion, this project was created by a couple of finance dudes who met at work and one day came up with a genius idea of quitting their 9-to-5 job to make $1 million selling a blockchain game. However, since these people are incapable of having original ideas, the only game that they could think of possibly making was just an exact copy of their favorite video game, Call of Duty. Then, they found a freelance Unity dev and a third-party game artwork studio and threw together some concept art and gameplay footage to present to a bunch of brain-dead venture capital firms. One of these firms being our old favorite Animoca Brands, the masterminds behind The Sandbox, another terrible NFT game that I've played on this series. With this large amount of VC funding, the team behind Undead Blocks probably spent most of the money on their own salaries, completely forgetting that they were supposed to be making a game. At the last minute, they had to throw something together so people couldn't sue them for a rug pull. And this is what they've come up with. Did I mention that this is supposed to be launching in 30 days? -5 out of 5. My total score for Undead Blocks is a 100 out of 100. It is the perfect example of an NFT game, and when anyone asks you about NFT games, you should tell them to play Undead Blocks. Hopefully, after that, they'll finally shut up and never speak to you about NFTs again. Thanks for sticking around until the end of the video. If you'd like to participate in my brain-damaging downward spiral into the nightmare that is NFT games, make sure to subscribe and like the video. Which game should I play next? Leave a comment with your suggestions, and I might just play it on the next episode. As always, I'm John, and I'll see you next time when we continue our search for the worst NFT game ever. Goodbye.